series. The next interesting series we're going to go over is the Lakers and Grizzlies. A interesting lower seed versus a team that's been really solid throughout the season. Yeah, thoughts on this series? Lakers with a surprising game 1 win.
Yeah. Okay, so first off, people who are saying that the series is over, it's not over.
Not over.
Like, like at most, Jaw's gonna miss one game, in my opinion. Right? If there's no fracture, if there's no ligament damage, and it's just pain tolerance, maybe there's probably swelling. There is swelling because he has hand wrapped in ice today during like shoot around. Um, at most he misses one game. Right. Um, Now in terms of what happened in game one, the Lakers the Lakers game plan on offense defense was very straightforward. Offense was basically drive the ball, post up AD, and just shoot threes. That's literally what their offense was in that order, by the way. Right? They were just driving the ball, giving AD a lot of post ups. Whenever AD posted up, they Grizzlies doubled. And then off of AD's double teams, the Lakers just chucked threes, and Rui got a lot of threes. Right. That's basically what their offense was. And then in the fourth quarter, their offense was Austin Reeves, dictating dictating the entire offensive flow and just calling plays for himself or the rest of his team for the last 8 minutes of the fourth quarter, which we will talk about later. The Lakers defense was basically make the Grizzlies drive, just get them off the 3-point line. Now, the Grizzlies took a lot of threes, but a lot of them were bad threes, especially from Dylan Brooks. If you watch the game, Dylan Brooks took a lot of bad threes, and Bane took a lot of long threes. They weren't necessarily bad shots, but they were pretty long threes, right? But basically, the Lakers were basically just running the Grizzlies off the 3-point line, making them drive, and AD just contests everything, and they just play Triple J just straight up, right? Whether it was LeBron or AD or Vanderbilt, they were content with letting Triple J just play 1-on-1 in the post. And they basically said, Triple J, you beat us. But the Grizzlies, you're not going to beat us from the 3-point line. And if you are going to drive the ball, then we are going to defend the paint, which AD did very well, right? He had not just 7 blocks, but he had so many deflections, and he contested over 20 shots, which is crazy, right? Now, having said that, whether the Lakers can keep this up for a full 7-game series, we'll see.
Yeah.
I don't think Rui will have a game close to this well for the rest of the series. I will say that Austin Reeves, the way that he played the fourth quarter and how he kind of ran the offense is very reminiscent of Brandon Roy, right? So what I mean by that is a lot of players in today's game, they try to make their moves very quick, whether it's a step back three, whether it's driving to the hole, whether it's getting to a spin move, whether it's getting to a Euro step, where it's getting to a fadeaway, a one dribble pull, whatever that is. Most players today, they try to go to their move very quickly. In the fourth quarter, the last 8 or 9 minutes of the game, literally what Austin Reeves did, he had the ball atop the key. He takes 2 dribbles into the 3-point line. He reads how the defense reacted to his 2 dribbles into the 3-point line, and he based his next move on reading the defense, whether that's kicking it out to an open shot if a double came, whether it's seeing a driving lane, driving it, whether it's waiting for the defense to react, being very patient before making a lateral jump shot or a step back three or another pull jump shot. He was very methodical of how he ran the offense the last 7-8 minutes. He was so methodical that LeBron didn't take a shot. He was literally in the corner for the majority of the fourth quarter because Austin Reeves just ran the offense in such a methodical, patient way. Nothing was rushed. Everything was very straightforward, and he just read the defense. I don't see that happening for the entire series, but if he can do 75% of what he did in that fourth quarter for the rest of the series, the Lakers got a good shot of winning. Having said all that, the Grizzlies have played well without Ja in the past. Their defense is still top notch with or without Jaw, with or without Adams, so on and so forth. This series will not end in like 4 or 5 games, despite what happens with Jaw. This series will go at least 6, in my opinion.
Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah, there's still a long ways to go. We can't necessarily bank on the role players playing as well as they did because they played exceptionally well, especially Roy. Right, he played a monster game. Like that's a game that I don't think anyone, even including himself, probably didn't expect him to play as well as he did. So I mean, I don't necessarily think that's sustainable throughout the series. So it's going to be other guys, or LeBron would have to take over in the fourth. LeBron or AD to take over in the fourth to get him wins. Because I actually do believe Austin Reeves can keep up. Maybe not necessarily, as you mentioned earlier, maybe like not quite exactly the same, but Austin Reeves has been averaging, I believe, 20 points in his
Yeah,
last
20 points.
5 regular season games. So he's been heating up, and I think the momentum will still keep going, considering he just had another 20+ point game, and that's going to increase his confidence. And also, I think the important thing is this also gives AD and LeBron a bit more quote unquote like resting time, because they're not necessarily initiating the offense every single time.
Yeah.
Right. They can kind of just play like a role player type of role in a way. Since, as you mentioned earlier, LeBron didn't. I think he only took one shot in the fourth. And same with AD. They were not very present offensively.
Yeah. So the one thing that I will say about LeBron, so what's concerning about LeBron, and this is just one game, so this might be an outlier.
Right.
So he looked tired, and there were times in the second quarter where I remember this one play so vividly. He was at the top of the key, a screen came, his teammate rolled, he did a behind the back pass between 2 defenders. Jaw stole it. The Grizzlies went on a fast break, and LeBron did not pass half court. So 1, it was a lazy pass, and 2, he did not get back on defense. Right now, regular season, fine, that you're gonna pace yourself, but in the playoffs, I don't know whether he was tired, whether he felt as though he wasn't gonna make a difference on defense. But for me, especially only in the second quarter, where the game, he only played about 14 minutes up to that point. That was concerning for me. Now, I could be exaggerating. It could be just an outlier. Maybe things change. Maybe he, gets his win back. Maybe he, is much more active the rest of the series. But for me, he had 5 turnovers, and about 3 of those turnovers were fairly lazy passes, in my opinion. So that's just one thing to kind of point out.
Yeah, no, I mean that's definitely a fair point, and he's kind of done that the entire regular season, so I'm kind of used to it. To see him play, kind of nonchalant defense at this point, considering how much he has to do on offense.
Yeah.
I'm not like trying to rationalize that he should be playing both ends of the court, but I mean the guy has played so many years in the league, like he has a lot of mileage on him. So I guess he felt confident in the team's ability to take over, and in this particular game, his plan kind of worked out, which is why I think in the most ideal sense, especially in the earlier series, like the first round, I think he would want a bit more time to rest.
Yep.
So like he is more fresh in the later series. Which is why I think it is good that the bench players were able to step up. The only issue is like how sustainable is that? Like is
Yep.
like Hachimura is probably not going to have another big game like this throughout the series, like as you mentioned. But with Reeves playing as well as he has been recently, hopefully that'll give LeBron more quote unquote resting time, despite him being on the court. But
Yeah.
at the same time, the Grizzlies are also a phenomenal team with or without Morant. So even though they lost game 1, it doesn't necessarily mean the series is over, right? They still can have fantastic play. They'll make adjustments as they were able to do throughout the season, despite dealing with a wide variety of different injuries. So it's going to be an interesting series for sure, and I think it's going to be an interesting one. I also believe it's going to end in at least 6 games, even potentially game 7, depending on how things turn out. So definitely a series that is going to be exciting and will probably come down to the wire.
Yeah, agreed.